we are bringing Jaws and the derelict Leviathan in 3, 2, 1. No derelict Leviathan here, but welcome everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode 214 of the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk Destiny, sometimes interview guests, and talk about our love of the game. But we have upon us a new season of Destiny. What is this, season 21? Yeah. It got real deep real quick.
Yes,
Of
21.
the Yes, and pause, it's Season of the Deep. It's here. It is.
Indeed, it is.
And we can kind of swim.
Oh, we're 5,000 meters under the sea.
Yeah.
Hello, Rodimus.
Hello.
Thanks for joining the podcast.
No problem.
We don't need to introduce you.
Nope.
If you're in the Discord, you know Rodimus.
Yes. And if you know Sin, you know he just
Old people.
haphazardly does random shit. So
And I'm a bull in a china shop.
So we didn't know we had Rodimus as a guest tonight until Sin made that decision.
Rodimus didn't know you had Rodimus as a guest tonight.
Yes. My point exactly. Des, did you know? None of us knew, right?
I didn't even know.
Definitely didn't know.
Now that's the best. That's hilarious, Sin. I understand what you're saying, and I totally get what you're saying. You didn't even know yourself that was going to happen.
It happens.
Do you surprise yourself every single day in life?
I mean, yeah. Some
doesn't
days I
know?
wake up and choose violence. The other days I wake up and choose chaos.
And you're like, I didn't know Sin was going to do that.
I don't even know. I just go with the flow.
Stop
even know
joshing
why I
around. Oh, no. Okay, Season of the Deep, it is out. So, of course, we will talk about that. Let's have someone pick the order if anyone cares, because we have the new season to talk about, but we also have, they dropped this upon us on a heavy week where we have lots of other stuff to talk about. So I'm kind of, I don't know why, but we also have major announcements.
We do.
Coming to
You
the
just want to dive
Destiny
right
and
in,
Bungie
don't you?
universe. No, I don't care.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
But maybe let's do that because it's kind of newer on our minds, and we will definitely be talking about Season of the Deep for weeks to come because this is a
Yes.
Destiny podcast. So,
Are you sure it's not a marathon podcast?
ooh. So yeah, what did Bungie announce? Their first new game in what, 10 years or something? I forget what the wording was. Does someone
They
have
said a
that?
decade.
Yeah.
A decade.
First new
yeah.
game in a decade.
Now, is it really a new game?
Well, good point. I was going to say that Marathon was one of their first games, not their first, but one of the first games, and it
Yeah.
was a game that actually came out on the Mac, and I believe this game also came out on PC. And it was back when Bungie was a much smaller company, kind of Jason Jones, the original crew. Back when I knew Bungie being a really cool gaming company, and then I kind of lost track of them when they sold out with Microsoft and did all the Halo stuff. But I knew of Marathon. I played the original Marathon. It wasn't so much for me because the original Marathon, hence like this new one, is a little more PvP focused. It's not like a traditional, maybe some PvP games we have these days, but you can basically say it's like that. And back to your point, whoever was saying, they kind of were using words like, yes, it has roots in Marathon, but it's going to be different. So whatever that means. Let me see if I can find the wording on that.
If you act now, you can buy a limited edition T-shirt for $77 on the Marathon website.
See, I did not even notice that part.
$7 goes to the Bungie fund,
Okay.
and your shirt will get a number on it based on the order you ordered it in. So it's once you have till June 1st to pre-order for it, then it's done.
Oh, hell no. I don't really buy much Destiny stuff either, so I'm not going to be buying this marathon shirt, which who knows how much I'll play this game in the long run once it comes out. I'll definitely be checking it out. Real quick, Des, do you know anything about the original marathon game? And I assume you saw these announcements. What are your quick take thoughts on it?
I find it very curious. They're making a new game that's the same name as the old game that has roots in the old game, but they name it the same thing, so it's a sequel / spiritual successor. It's a successor at the same time. It's really weird. But no, I was just kind of thrown off because they announced Marathon and they make I was confused, very confused, because they have a game called Marathon, but now they're coming out with Marathon, but they're treating it like this brand new thing, and it's like it might be a new story, but still, you're borrowing your old name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of cool that they're doing that, but it's interesting. It almost seems like they're using an older Bungie logo too. If you look on the Marathon page.
Please, that had me confused.
It's no different than making Batman over and over again.
Right.
How many versions of movies of those do we have?
What, 4 now, actually?
Let me put this in the chat here. Cool logo.
That's the Marathon logo itself.
Oh, that's the Marathon logo. I thought that was the Bungie logo back then. Okay, that's the Marathon logo. My bad.
Yeah. The only reason I know so much about Marathon is back when we had the Bungie anniversary collaboration, and that's when I looked into Marathon quite a bit, as well as Paths into Darkness, I believe it was called, which was another one of their super early games that I can't remember if it became before or after Marathon, and I can't remember that third game. But there was like 3 of them that basically started Bungie and like essentially game like 4 or 5 or original IP number 4 or 5 was Halo.
Yeah. Myth was another game, not Myth, but Myth.
That was it. Yeah, Myth, because there was like 3 Myths, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was like, and I think Path into Darkness came after Myth, and then Marathon, because it was going to be like either way, but Path into Darkness, like one of them borrowed and it became Marathon or something like that. Either way, I read into it a long time ago. No, but it's really cool though that we heard, what was 2 years ago that they were starting to work on a brand new IP.
Yep.
So it's cool that we see the fruits of that now. So they came out with this kind of came out during the PlayStation showcase, and another thing came out which we'll announce in a second, and we won't announce, but we'll talk about. And then shortly after, there's also a Vidoc 2 about Marathon, so check that out. The game is in somewhat of a playable state because they show people internally playing it, and they're talking about a bunch of things. They kind of almost indirectly shit talk on Destiny in a way, because they're talking about, we knew when we built this, we needed to have dedicated servers, and we're going to have like the best this, and this. I'm like, okay, could have never done dedicated servers for Destiny. But whatever, it's gonna be there for Marathon. Yeah, I mean, this is good news for what I still believe is coming for the next, full version Destiny.
Oh yeah, and that could be coming. You're a good point.
Yeah,
they just probably don't want to worry about it now. They do say it's going to be fully cross-play and cross-save, but of course just
from the get-go.
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC.
Yeah, but that's also super good too. I mean, like I said, they're hitting like all key points, and I am kind of happy that they're doing dedicated server tests on something that isn't Destiny. first.
That's true.
So that way, that new game can go through its own growing pains as they figure that out. Because nothing against Bungie devs. That could be an entirely new team with no one working from Destiny and like a new way of doing things. But as we've experienced, they got some weird coding philosophy. So,
do we know what engine they're running for Marathon yet?
And they haven't mentioned that, I think, but check out the Vidoc again. I only just briefly skimmed through it. They may have actually said something about that because, again, they were talking about we wanted the best of the best. They're talking about dedicated servers, and they said something about the best, cheaper. They want this to be, I think they were using the word competitive also. So, and we don't know anything about pricing model, date that it's coming out, anything like that, but they have a website up, marathonthegame.com.
Well, I mean, that, and if you go to Bungie.net now, which confused me at first, you actually have to choose between Destiny and Marathon.
Which is a little annoying because I used to always go there and I had a one click into the news and stuff.
Right.
And now I'll have 2 clicks into the news because I got to click Destiny. Now.
Exactly. That confused me first because I'm looking at this page. I'm like, okay, I typed it right. This is the thing. Where's the stuff? Like, I normally just go here and there's the stuff. Where's the stuff? So it took me like 5 seconds to figure that out. But
Sin, are you going to check out Marathon?
Probably not.
Not at all.
I might check it out a little bit, but I don't know if it's PvP only. It's not going to be a game for me.
I mean, probably won't for me either, but I'll definitely check it out. I'm sure we'll talk about it from time to time. I mean, Rodimus sounds excited about it. Who knows? Maybe we can do a break-off podcast if for some reason Des or I get super into it with Rodimus.
I'll give it a shot.
But also, let's also take into consideration, though, that even though it might be PvP only to start with, that doesn't mean it won't have some kind of either cooperative or quote-unquote single-ish player stuff to do in the future, because there's been a few games, arena shooters specifically, that were essentially PvP only. Biggest example, of course, being Overwatch, that came out with some cooperative events through the years, so
yeah,
that's not entirely out of the question.
Yeah. And the mode of this PvP game seems interesting to me. I like the kind of sci-fi style of it. They keep calling them runners. I kind of had this cyberpunk vibe when I was watching the Vidoc the trailer.
I was kind of hoping you'd say Blade Runner, but okay.
Okay. I don't know as much about Blade Runner. I need to watch that again.
I've never seen either of them. So I only know it by name and like it's like I think it holds one of those important like pieces of cinema and history for something they did.
Yeah.
No,
technological or something.
Yeah, and there's been like I've been into a bunch of games that have a lot of references to Blade Runner. The Fallout series actually being one of them. Where I think Fallout 1 and 2, before Bethesda got a hold of it, had a gun simply called That Gun. And that was it. And I had no idea what the reference was until years later, reading up on things and finding out it was the pistol from Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
What else came out is that? Sorry, Des, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please move it forward, because this is shenanigans at the highest levels coming up.
What else came out in the Sony broadcast, Kingsley?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to ask because Sin wasn't talking as much, but I can talk about it.
He's too busy trying to do his hunter stuff.
Yeah.
I am doing hunter stuff for sure.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that for sure. Sin and I are doing cool hunter shit these days.
I'm just so far behind.
Okay. So there is also in the Sony showcase, and then Bungie announced. Let me load up the page here. You got to type in your birth date now. Are these games not going to be T for teen anymore? Because even the final shape one, I have to type in my birth date. What the hell's going on?
That's
here?
weird. I have no idea.
Anyways,
what kind of stuff are you trying to look into, Kingsley?
Well, I'm trying to look at stuff where there's a big picture of Cade 6's face with the words "the final shape." What?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, no spoiler alert. Yeah, it's because Bungie themselves announced this, like plop this right in everyone's lap, and even because didn't they even tag it as a spoiler themselves?
The funny thing is, they did the exact same thing when Cade died. They told us way ahead of time. They didn't want it to be a spoiler in the story. They wanted us to know for some reason ahead of time, and now they're wanting us to know ahead of time too. Then, at least in some sense, Cade 6 is back. I mean, Nathan Fillion is back doing the voice.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! It's the witness.
No.
Witness.
No.
Not quite soon.
No.
I was reading somewhere, I don't know where I read it, but isn't there like warlocks in the lore that constantly kill themselves, though?
Well, the reviving, the res ability, but I don't think this has to do if okay, did everyone here watch the little mini teaser trailer?
Yes.
And don't they call it like the Valley of something? And it looks like they're implying that Korra's in there, and you see the picture of the Veil Triangle. So maybe they're both in this area. For all we know, this is just some area. Call it the afterlife, call it a memory, call it whatever you want. It's just some thing where we're seeing Cade 6, but it's not like he's going to be like the vendor in the game. You know?
Do you think we're actually in the Traveler?
I do.
Don't know. Yeah, go Des, go.
No, I do 100% believe that this is the space, this is the other side of the portal that the witness made. I do believe that.
But does that mean Cade 6 can come out and be on the real side? If that makes sense.
If it's, I think you might be. I'll preface this because I did mention that I know one spoiler. This is not the spoiler I know. The spoiler I know is coming out this season sometime, and that's going to be fantastic. But no, so I haven't heard anything about this other than theories. But no, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Some kind of like afterlife or echo type deal that we're dealing with here, and 100% I would not actually be surprised if they did in fact make him a vendor, just to have him around.
Oh yeah, you could still be a vendor within this domain that we're talking about right now.
I don't. Now, even if he is a vendor, again, this is just knee jerk looking at it and everything, but I don't think he'll survive past final shape. I think this will be his last hurrah, so to speak. Yeah.
See, my wife doesn't want to hear this. I was kind of showing her this, and she was getting all excited. I'm like, don't get too excited. We don't know what's going to happen. And then if they kind of bring him back, but then he's not back, and then he's gone again, she would never want to play final shape.
But no, that's, like I said, that's just my knee jerk. Because here, one thing is he's carrying something that looks like Ace, or Ace of Spades, rather. Not the person that he thinks might be his son, or might be a false memory. Who knows? Because Clovis Bray's a jerk. No, he has Ace of Spades, which is canonically 100 million% not accurate, because about 5 million Guardians are carrying Ace of Spades, so he can't possibly have the actual Ace of Spades.
Could this be version 1.0 or 100th?
I mean,
template.
It's not unheard of. If I'm just trying to figure out why Cade. That's what I'm going. Why? Other than the fact that potentially behind the scenes,
Because Korra needs him because she's all down and distraught, and she needs some moral support.
How's he going to interact with Crow?
Ooh.
But no, okay. So here's also another branching theory I have. Ikora needs support, but why?
Isn't she
Ooh.
like a Billy Badass herself?
Well, yeah.
She normally is.
But yeah, something could have happened.
But there was one time where she was not, and she was very insecure, and she was very questioning of herself. Like one time throughout the history of Destiny, and that was the Red War campaign.
Yeah.
When everything got turned upside down. Now, what I'm thinking, of course, this isn't going to be a massive surprise because, I mean, the voice actor passed. So, but I think they might potentially actually give some kind of service for Zavala in memory of Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
And this might be why Ikora is distraught and needs something.
You know, in a way, it makes perfect sense. And in another way, so many people aren't going to think this through. Everyone's just focusing on Cade and why did they tell us ahead of time? But then when we play the final shape, and if you aren't paying attention, all of a sudden it's like, wait, oh shit, we shouldn't be worrying about Cade 6. Maybe Zavala's going to die.
Right. No, but all theory aside and all, everything I have aside, I am just super happy that they made a trailer with Cade 6 post Destiny 2 where he did not crack one joke.
Yeah.
Like maybe, just maybe, this can actually be the good Cade again, The pre-Destiny 2 Cade. The Cade that actually... whatever. Anyway.
So there's
I mean,
also...
get on that tirade again.
No, I get it. There's also a comment in the chat by Dystopian Freak, and some other people were noticing also that at least what they showed us, his ghost isn't in the trailer, but Ikora's is.
Well, I mean, his ghost got shot.
His ghost is like dead. But isn't there
But is there
a way another ghost can get to someone?
That's happened. Well, we've had the inverse of that happen once in the lore, and that was Shin Malphur himself. God, I'm forgetting his name now, but the guardian that basically took in Shin Malphur is kind of like a protege of sorts. Once he died from Thorn, his ghost then awoken Shin Malphur to the light, which was just a doubly weird case because Shin Malphur never died. So
I have a batshit crazy theory.
Uh-oh.
So we know that Lance Reddick unfortunately passed away, right?
Yes.
So to send off Zavala, do you see Zavala telling his ghost not to revive him and to move to someone else? Is that possible?
I am unwilling to say yes. Because again, we just have the one. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to shut it down because we do have one precedence of a similar thing happening. But I'm not going to flat out say yes. That is possible. But no, it's definitely not a no.
Oh, that's my batshit crazy theory. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, it's definitely not a no because again, we do have one precedent, so I can't shut it down entirely. It's a solid maybe though, or solid possible.
Nice. Well, we have the new season also, and we've been playing it. Sin's been playing it. Sin, live update. Are you on a hunter?
Hunter, wacky, waving, inflatable, flailing strand arms emote. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm emoting at Osiris.
Right on. So we have Season of the Deep upon us, and initial thoughts. They bring us to Titan.
Initial thoughts. Suck it, nerds who thought Sloan was going to be an enemy. Screw you all. Okay, that's my initial thoughts.
Yeah.
To be fair, I even know who Sloan was, so.
Yeah.
Sloan was far too by the book gung-ho, yeah. The way they brought her back is exactly how they should have brought back Sloan. Yeah. Sloan is here. We oh, by the way, it's like one of these things where ever since the witness has done crazy shit, Titan is back. Now, was Titan technically back at the beginning of Lightfall and we didn't know, or is Titan just back right now?
Who knows? Just found it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But to be fair, also, I mean, we did have a lot of other stuff to take care of at the start of Lightfall. So, I mean, it would make sense if, Titan coming back kind of, was on the back burner a little bit.
So we
come Io's coming back soon?
I mean,
it's possible now.
It's definitely possible, especially in the way they're doing this, because they don't have to take up as much game space. It's not like we're getting Titan the explorable space. We're just getting certain missions, certain activities that use assets. But even us knowing that Titan was a smaller area, Titan is still probably at least 2/3 bigger than what we have in the game right now. And we're undoubtedly going to see more.
Yeah.
But I remember.
I mean, that's like when they. Yeah. That's like even though Mars is technically back, there's actually now no real part of Mars from Mars back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Mars part that's back is like one tiny little itty bitty mission size area, and everything else is the throne. But
it's fun to see though. It's fun, and we land down and we start dealing with Xivu Arath's anger. Voice lines.
Oh my god, yes, we hear. Dude, she is embodying, like, she is like channeling her inner Kratos whenever she speaks. And I love it. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the first line. Right.
So you can buy the Kratos armor right now on, I think, Titan.
Oh yeah. But yeah, the first line we hear from her is something along the lines that I am the mountain that breaks all swords. Like, come and hone your edge on me. It's like, what? That's epic and what? It's very nice.
And they do a good job of going along with the lore of Xivu Arath with the story. So, like any good Destiny intro single player story, they can't make it too hard. But what they did was the quote boss that came out for the mission. When he first came out, it was like Azeroth or something. We call him Asshat because he kind of looks like, it's like a hive bottle that almost looks like he's wearing a tall baker's hat. So I call him Asshat. But I'm like, holy shit. I started pumping heavy into him. He's going down like 2% after a long period of time. I'm like, this is going to be a battle, but it makes sense because Xivu Arath, powerful forces.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, where's this going to go? And I should have figured, but eventually where it went is even when we got him down like maybe a fourth of the way, it's like, oh, he shielded up and got teleported away for reasons. And then we deal with him. We deal with him later in the 6-player activity, which makes more sense when there's 6 Guardians working on him together.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked the intro mission. Just real quick, there's 2 activities. There's a 6-player activity and a 3-player activity, and then we can talk to you more about story stuff. I just kind of want to mention this. And let's see, the names. That's what I wanted to get, the names. Okay, 6-player activity is Salvage. And they basically use the arenas of the middle part of the arcology. And you base from there, and you kind of go to side areas, and then you come back. I kind of have some complaints about this. I know it's going to change some and have harder modes, but boy, of all the 6-player activities we've gotten so far, this one's kind of very beautiful, but it's kind of boring and spaced out and super easy. Super easy. Whatever. We'll see on that.
Wellspring.
Wellspring, I'm trying to remember. But
Throne World and the little shuttle.
Oh, yeah. And then we have a 3-player activity, or you can do this solo, and they're called deep dives. I like how you can do it solo or 3-player. And these are really unique because it's a little harder because it's 3-player, and you kind of combine this new gimmick that we have, by the way, of going in
the water, quote, the liquid methane, where Guardians are swimming, quote unquote, and we have some protection, and we have to go through, I guess, air bubble pockets so we don't die or our armor cracks, whatever it is.
I would call it like old school scuba diving, like back in the day where you had the hose connected to you and they just dumped you off into the ship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it reminds me of.
Which, wasn't that salvage diving?
Yep.
I know. Yeah. So this kind of goes together.
It was thematic.
And they did an excellent job of the movement, and I freaking love the decorations, how it looks like when you're in the water. The coral is very vibrant.
Yeah.
How you move around, it's very Destiny-esque. It almost feels like everyone's kind of like a floaty warlock when you're kind of going through the water. You have some movement, but you're definitely kind of feel like you're in a liquid type situation. And I think it's a good job.
What do you think about the fishing activity?
Oh, yes, the fishing activity. Sin. Let's hear from Sin.
It was interesting. I just finished it up last night, and right now I definitely do not have enough bait to farm the fishing activity, but it's definitely a time suck.
Well, you don't need the bait to fish. It just gives you a better chance.
Right. Why do it
Yes.
if you're not going to have the better chance, right?
Well, and it will be very easy to get bait. I don't know what you're doing, that you don't have a lot of bait yet.
Well, I had just started. I didn't play on Tuesday. I played Wednesday.
Oh my
so,
God.
Yeah, that's true.
so I knocked out a lot in one night, basically.
Okay, so the fishing thing is wild, and there were anyone who follows the D2 leaks and all the rumors and stuff. We started to see this a week or so before. I don't think, Des, or anyone, if you remember, this one was talked about earlier on.
No, it was at most about 2, maybe 3 weeks. But yeah, it was not super.
Well, yeah, last week in our
Okay.
After Dark episode, we talked about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was out just a bit before that. So that's what I'm wanting to say, at most like 2 to 3 weeks. That this has been like potentially circulating.
I think they did a good job with it. Yes, you can collect this bait where you have a better chance of fish. You can collect, there's tons of fish, a great handful of 10 to 15 of different rarities from, green to blue to purple, and there's even an exotic one you can get.
What, no
And-
whitefish?
No white. And then they have very funny names. They're all kind of like puns. And you just kind of go up to this little small dock area. There's one on the EDZ, one in Nessus. I don't know how the fish are surviving in the Vex Milk. And one in the Throne World. How they're surviving in the Throne
I
World.
was supposed to say, at least they could be, kind of mechanic if they're in
Yeah.
X-Milk. But Throne World? I don't think you want to eat those fish.
But it's
They'll be
kind of
fine.
fun to chill. You just kind of go up to it, right, Rodimus, and you just kind of throw your line out, and then you wait, and it has a little pop-up that's kind of quick. It says perfect catch. And if you hit your button back at that point, you'll get perfect catch, which means you have a better chance of getting a good fish.
Or you
Then you
get a
can also-
nice catch.
Yeah, or you get a nice catch and
Or you
totally
knock-
flub.
Yep.
Yep.
My 7-year-old was fishing today for me when I was cooking dinner. She enjoys
nice.
doing she enjoys running around the tower and she's like, I could jump around and do all these things. So I let her do that. I said, well, you can go fishing now, and she's like, oh, let me go see that. So
Yeah.
she did some fishing for me while I was cooking dinner.
And only one minor complaint, and I'll talk about another cool thing, is a lot of people when we're getting into this, and there's even this bar you can level up for, it's like fishing, what do they call it?
Focus fishing.
Focused fishing, which it's you with other people in that zone, how long you've been there. Well, guess what? When the public event comes around that's in that same zone, and I understand they probably had to do this, but all of a sudden the dock disappears and you can't fish anymore. So it can be a little annoying if you didn't want to do the public event. I saw one guy when that happened, and he just did the sad sit down emote where he's shaking his head. I'm like, oh, buddy, I feel the same way. But other than that, worrying about the public event coming around, it's nice to just chill out. And
Yeah.
in the helm, in our vendor space, they built the wing to the helm is on the left, and they built a fish tank in there and everything. And we have the
Aquarium.
Yeah, in the aquarium we have the relics from seasons past. We even have a bobblehead callus in there, and we can add more things from triumphs as we collect fish to our fish tank.
And then the deep dives are 2 items you can grab too.
I haven't figured that out yet. What do you know about that?
They're Kato and I got them yesterday, and it's like 2 items. You pick them up. There's 2 each week, I think. Like it's that, like the action figures for Neomuna.
Oh,
And
you'll have to show me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can show you. But they'll go in your aquarium.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, this is all fun and all, and it'll be really interesting to see how the story goes. I think the story is going to be excellent again. Bungie's story has been on point for seasons after seasons now, but I'm a little worried the activities will get boring quick. That's okay. We can't expect too much, and it's still well worth the $10 a la carte or annual pass. And we have very excited for the dungeon coming out tomorrow. There's some interesting rumors about that on what's all going to be in there.
I think it's been leaked already.
Yes. Oh yeah. But
Oh yeah, 100%.
that one we won't go into because it's probably not even worth. Even if some of them aren't true, so we'll talk about that for sure next week. I'm hoping to have a guest on where we can talk that about. But yeah, Dungeon's coming out tomorrow. The season, I love the aesthetics of it. I love the swimming. The activities are all right. I like Deep Dive better than Salvage. Oh, weapons. The weapons are cool. Oh, and the new strand aspect for that. I went ahead, and Sin and I are maining Hunter now, so I got the new Hunter aspect, which is the little clone you make when you dodge away.
Decoy.
Hence my name in the Discord right now. I'm just a decoy, or is it? I'm just a Hunter decoy. No, I'm just a strand decoy. I'm just a baby. I'm just a strand decoy.
Doing a warlock this season, so it's been a little interesting.
Okay, did you get the aspect yet, and what is it like?
I actually haven't even played Strand with the warlock. I've been doing.
Oh, so you gotta, yeah.
I have them. I have them all. I just haven't played with it yet. I've been focusing on Arc. So it seems like Arcs can be the way to go for the season.
It does. But I like Strand, and I've been focusing on getting all the fragments. And I think Strand has definitely some, because of the way in the relic, the seasonal artifact and all that. Strand definitely has its place also. And so far, there's already been one build that Plunder put out because of Radiant Dance Machines getting a buff. Let me tell you, of all the exotics on the Hunter, I don't mind running this one because they look good. So I now have that Strand Radiant Dance Machine build on my Hunter.
Yeah, I haven't really got into that because I'm just trying to collect all the exotics that I need. Still, I don't have a lot of warlock exotics, so I've just been focusing on doing all that.
Yeah. What do you want to do with the Hunter Sin? Like if you had an order of priority, you working on Strand first or just
Strand
whatever?
First, for sure. One, because it's not unlocked, so I want to get all of that unlocked anyway. But the Strand build that was put out looks super fun.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind trying Arc, since it's supposed to be pretty good as well.
Oh yeah, Arc will be good, and Arc seems to be the other hot one this season with some of the artifact mods, and also another thing. I'm not so sure about this, how great this centrifuge auto rifle will be in the long run, but the catalyst does have an easier way to proc the ability of the exotic if you're empowered, whatever Arc empowered is called. I forget the
Bolter amplified.
Yeah. Amplified, yeah. So if you're amplified anyways, you already have the extra ability, so you don't have to charge it up.
So, you mean what everyone thought was Zalo?
Oh my gosh, it's not like Zalo at all.
I just think it's so funny that all like through the leaks, like people see exotic Arc auto rifle that chains Arc, and it's like Zalo. It's like,
I would call it a Chunky's Tommy's matchbook.
I would rather have
that's what it
Zalo.
looks like.
However, this is stable as fuck.
it's a nice auto rifle for that aspect. It is very stable.
Yeah, I was checking out the lore archive for things, and that's what they were using, and it looks like super freaking stable and kind of packs a punch.
As long as you're moving.
Yeah, it's
fair.
To get the arc, you have to keep moving. You do not want to reload because it reloads itself also when you move. So you move to charge it up and you move to reload it. And so it's kind of annoying because if you're in the battle and you're losing the charge, or you're about to need to reload, you don't want to reload because you'll lose the charge. So you want to like run around some. Oh, I'll be right back, ads, and then and then at least that's one way to use. So again, the catalyst will make it better because you have other ways to charge it too.
Actually, the reload when you're running around does not reduce your charge.
Yeah, you're right, but you just have to remember not to reload, and you have to run around. It reloads. It brings ammo into the mag pretty quickly when you're running around, but still, you do have to. When I say pretty quickly, it's not like 2 to 5 seconds. It's more like 5 to 10 to really be effective. So you kind of need to leave the battle a little bit, if that makes sense, and then if you don't want to do a manual reload, just run around. Hey, dudes, don't mind me. Just run in the middle of all the ads, and then I'll be back. Yeah.
About 5 seconds.
5 seconds? Okay.
Yep. I'm only doing that because I'm doing it at a timed event in New Muna, so.
Yeah. Do you like it? Do you think you'll be trying it out a bunch?
I'll try it a little bit, especially for this arc build that I'm working on, but I'm having a hard time giving up my Quicksilver.
Yeah, and I would probably rather even just do the trace rifle stuff.
Yeah, I think I would use Cold Heart. Yeah. I saw a build that for an Arc Warlock that wants to use Ace of Spades.
Ooh.
For the Firefly perk. I'll give it a bunch of Arc builds to try and see what I like, but pretty much I gotta get the artifact unlocked first to truly test them.
Well, I may loop around in a week or two to loading up my Warlock also. Remember, as us maining Sin doesn't mean we can't run Titan or Warlock. It just means we're maining and doing all the first stuff on the character. So it's not like I don't want to check out the Warlock stuff because it sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, you still want to keep yourself relevant for the next season.
Yeah, exactly.
And I cheated. I played on my Titan the other day just because none of the other characters were up to snuff.
It's fine. We're not going to care that much. It was just a fun challenge.
How dare you?
I know. How dare I?
You lost. I won.
You lose. You get nothing.
Good day, sir. Yep. All right. What else? Can you think of anything else in Rodimus or Story Stuff Des that we did not talk about in the new season? Obviously, we'll have a lot more week after week.
Oh, there's plenty of still some story stuff to talk about.
I do have a quick question for Des.
Oh God.
Where does this fish thing come from? Has it been talked about before?
You mean that thing that I was just about to mention, the big floating creature, Asa?
Yes.
Asa has been mentioned before, but of course never specifically by name until now. In fact, this is the first time her model has existed in the game. I'm not joking. Because what we thought was a giant sea creature that occasionally popped up in Titan, people have out of bounds while Titan was around, and it was literally just a few like giant finned wheels to make it look like a sea creature, like floating through the water. Anyway, it was a nice dev trick, but no, Asa, there's some stuff that's out there. I don't know how much could potentially be spoilery, but my normal source isn't usually that spoilery. So everything I know, I'm going to assume is safe knowledge. And thus I'm going to share it now. But potentials, it could be kind of spoilery. But no, Asa is not from Titan. And of course, as Sloan says, she does have information on the Witness. Because her kind was pretty much, I mean, the Witness did its thing and lured some of her kind to the darkness. But we know, actually, we know pretty well, A, the planet that she comes from, and B, the rest of her kind. Because the planet she comes from is Fundament.
Oh.
For those lore nerds that recognize that, or for the non-lore nerds that don't recognize that, rather, that's the home planet of the Hive.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the Witch Queen story too, even if you weren't paying attention before.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because they did. They even mentioned Krill there. But no. So Asa is the same species as the worm gods.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just another version of them.
Yeah. She's basically like the Krill are to the Hive. Asa is that like proto worm god, essentially. She's pre-darkness worm god. To put it in like the simplest terms I can think to put it. So no, yeah, their kind was on Fundament. Witness got a hold of them first, apparently. Which also means that the Leviathan in the old Book of Sorrows could very well also be one of her race. Which, as far as we know, is Leviathan. But, yeah, so that's about as much as we know that's about as much as I know for now, for sure, without getting too spoilery. But no, so she does have information on the Witness. Which again, story tells us that, and Sloane's connection to her tells us that much. But yeah, so that's that. So she is proto worm god from Fundament. The Witness got a hold of her kind. Dark stuff happened, and then they imprisoned the worm gods into the center of Fundament, or deep in Fundament, whatever.
And also is able to give us buffs. I don't know if that relates to the lore at all in these little activities.
I mean, considering I don't think they're. I just think it's kind of like it could be something psychic, like Scions have capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
They might have like an innate psychic capability, which is potentially why the Witness chose them anyway. Because slowly, as we're going along, the dark abilities are like more focused on like the mental faculties rather than the physical manipulation. So yeah, there's that. So I don't think they're basically the worm gods are not related to the Ahamkara, unless there's some link to the Ahamkara that they're going to reveal. As of right now, at least in my mind, they are finally two separate species. Ahamkara and worm god, that is, which is kind of sad for me because for years I've been a proponent that Ahamkara and worm god were the same. It's just worm gods used the darkness while Ahamkara used some other paracausal capability. So sad day for me.
Well, I need to read through a lot of this stuff. I know what you're talking about. There's a bunch of dump of things for this season and supposedly for Final Shape, which a lot of the Final Shape things were kind of initially supposedly story elements leaked a few months ago, but now it seems even more realistic because of one thing. Anyways, if anyone's interested, because these are just overall themes, they're not, it's like telling us all these things about gameplay or whatever, but we won't go into that on the podcast. But lots of really cool, interesting information for both this season's story and Final Shape potential story and what we'll be doing.
Yeah, because be warned, there is a leaked cutscene.
That's for this season, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, yeah, there's definitely for this. It's like it's going to be the ending cutscene for the season. Because I mean, I might have been skeptical when I first saw it, but the art style was, of course, dead on. And then now the start of the season, it's like, no, yeah, this is that. So just be warned, like, for those that go looking. But also, this cutscene is fantastic. This is probably the best cutscene, or at least seasonal cutscene, let's say, that we've had, like, ever. Like, this is a cutscene that answers so many questions without raising that many questions in kind. It is absolutely fantastic, like, from a lore perspective.
Nice.
And it sets so many questions and so many, like, big mysteries currently in Destiny in order. So yeah, it's going to be massive, and I cannot wait for it to release so that way I can finally start gushing about it.
And this kind of all makes sense. It's like they had this master plan, right? Because if this is coming out at the end of the season, guess what else is at the end of the season? The next big Destiny 2 reveal for the final shape, August 22nd, because the new season, I believe, starts the 23rd. So this is all kind of coming together.
Oh god, yes, yeah, they've been doing this. Like, I don't know how far along they've planned this, but yeah, this is fantastic. Like, the mystery of what will happen at the end of the season, like the build up to it, and like this reveal is like some of the best we've had in a long time. And I think it's potentially some of the first, like, purely manufactured mystery that we've had, because I think a lot of the other mystery and build up into things. Actually, I think it's the best reveal and mystery build up since Dredged in Yore and finding out that he was Rezalazir. This is like that level of reveal, I think.
Well, speaking of next season, so I don't forget, we have a question from Mr. Monkey. Seen a lot of speculation around reprised raids. If you had your, it's not like we haven't speculated on this from time to time, but I still love the question. If you had to bet your mortgage on it, not what you want to come back, Sin and me, what's coming back next season? Mr. Monkey says, sorry, Sin, I think it could be Leviathan. So first, we know what you want to come back, Sin, but to answer Mr. Monkey's question, and it can be the same answer, what do you think will come back?
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense considering where we're at in Destiny 2 right now. Definitely would. I mean, it's been a D1 raid every time. This would be the only time, if it isn't Wrath, that it would be a D2 reprised raid.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer it. I still think Wrath is going to come back, but as we maybe might hear more leaks as we get closer, it will change my tune. I, of course, also want Wrath to come back. And here's an interesting point. It's not like they did this for any reason, but there's a lot of part picking up in these seasonal activities, the salvage one. And guess what we did in Wrath?
Well, I mean, they also did that quite a bit in the Witch Queen campaign.
Yeah.
Like with the wrenches and stuff. So, I mean.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't mean anything, but still, let me have my thing.
I'll let you dream. I will not try and crush your dreams, but also, yeah, I think it's Leviathan coming back.
I mean,
as much as I would love it not to be, it's probably Leviathan coming back, because seeing the reaction, like some people's reaction to Leviathan potentially coming back, pretty much tells me it's Leviathan. Because I think there might be more people now pining for Leviathan return than there are D1 veterans pining for Wrath.
Okay, well, I will talk to some of these people then a few months down the road, people that actually play the game a lot, because I know Leviathan was very friendly to people that did not raid a lot. Okay, but for those that do like to raid and can actually have opinions on which raids are more fun versus other ones. Not that everyone can't have that opinion, but you know what I mean? Like, you're really into it.
Now,
Leviathan, most people kind of said, did get boring after a while.
It did.
Yeah.
I will say that, like, a lot of the things got samey, but Master Leviathan, or what was
that
it?
Was a lot
Prestige.
Prestige.
Yeah, that was like, I mean, it was practically an entirely different thing, and like had some challenge aspects.
I cannot give you an opinion on either one of them. So.
I know.
So I will say yes, like a normal Leviathan, it was basically like a it did kind of become like a DSC or oh god, the new one. What's it called?
Yeah, Ron, Root of Nightmares.
Yeah. It's definitely in that category and style of raid, but also at the same time, Prestige. It wasn't as crazy as Crown. Like, nothing is ever going to be that crazy, but no, I mean it. And it definitely wasn't as mechanically heavy. It was just like it was definitely a step above. Like it also did not hit like King's Fall or Last Wish level of mechanics. It was definitely like a Vogue style, I would say. I would definitely. God, it's really hard to compare because, like I said, it's Prestige definitely deserves its own categorization. But also at the same time, it's hard because it fits in between so many like styles of raids.
Yep.
But yeah, I will say that though. But no, chances are it will not be massively ran. It will not have longevity, I don't believe. Either way, to be honest.
A couple items. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and finish that because I'm changing the subject.
Oh no, I was about to say I do feel Wrath could be more popular at first. Just I mean, becoming
hardcore
like
people, yeah,
and not just the hardcore, but like the D2 era of players, kind of outnumbering the D1 vets. So I mean, I feel it could have some initial popularity with those people, but like I said, I don't even think Wrath would potentially stay that popular. Yeah, but I could be wrong. I mean, that's just my predictions, and my predictions rarely go right.
All right, couple items of news. There's some major issues with clan stuff right now. So if you don't pay attention in the Discord and just listening to this podcast and you are in the clan, don't worry. Several people messaged me, did I get booted for some reason? No. Other than the Bungie reason, they're having technical problems. So there's not much we can do right now. It seems like it came back for a little bit and we thought it was fixed, but now it's having issues again. So if this is still having issues by the time you hear this podcast, just know that when it does come back, we will make sure if Bungie doesn't automatically add people, then I'll have some way to figure it out. We'll just write some messages in the Discord. Please check the Discord for news on that, and we will let you know how to get back in, and you can just message us. And also, they had mentioned, I just thought this was interesting for me, that the new exotic focused decoding, where you can pick your very specific item you want. I went ahead and did that for Radiant Dance Machines because I did not have a good roll on them. But then I was a little worried because Bungie came out with a potential bug saying that they were looking into issues of it not dropping with the high stat rolls that they wanted. But they did use the words in some cases or something like that. So I'm like, I'll give it a try. And I got a 64. So I don't think I was in the case of, because I thought they said 65 was going to be the mid-60s were going to be the average anyways. So I'm not complaining. But if anyone got a really low roll, that's pretty expensive. And I guess Bungie didn't want that to happen. But keep that in mind. Maybe just take that with a light touch at first. But my experience shows that the roll was good. There's other bugs, but I don't know if anything's too interesting that we need to talk about.
Anything interesting from the TWAB? Because I don't read them.
Yeah, go ahead, Des. There are a few things, but a lot of recap mostly.
This is a lot of recap mostly. But no, it's something. Just some comfort, like this idea, like just kind of hit me or pre-hit me. Anyway, we're told in Lightfall campaign that the veil is a darkness thing, right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Drain's a
'Cause
dark
it's like-
thing, but I don't know if they've determined what the veil is.
I thought we
yet.
didn't know anything about the veil in the campaign.
Well, I thought because the mast, the radiant mast,
Radial
that
mast.
Rohan,
Yeah.
that Rohan, that was a darkness artifact. Even though it was light, it was like a darkness artifact. And I thought they said the same for the veil.
Maybe, but the radial mast was Callus's doing, right? That
It's hard to tell if it was Callus's doing or what.
I thought they were using that to control the veil.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the
Just siphon
veil.
the
That was
energy.
Callus. That was Callus
No,
trying
yeah.
to control the veil.
No, yeah, exactly, because they needed something that had light in order to connect the veil to the traveler.
I
Which
mean, I'm
is
not
why-
saying. I just don't remember. Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's fair, but also they are at least insinuating that. But at least one part of there was like a line or something in some of the dialogue in early season that it might have actually been the Veil mission itself, or I guess at least the first part of it, because I think it's multi-part. Where there's a line that mentions, yeah, because it's from one of the Ishtar people. In fact, Maya Sundaresh's wife. Makes mention that the veil, it's pure energy. It has zero mass, but yet it still has a tangible surface that you can touch. Pretty much entirely fits that duality of like light and dark, at least as a potential theory at the very least, where light capabilities use things from the physical universe, arc, gravity, solar, while like darkness abilities are more psychically bound and like mental, at least from sourcing. So
Yeah.
that just kind of very much fits that duality, is the idea that just popped in my head. And yeah.
I know what the veil is. It's the thing in the center of the island on Lost. Sorry.
Fair. 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 But no, that story is going to.
I mean, you got in Lost. You got the light and the dark person. You got Jacob, and you got, and then they're fighting over that source of energy. Oh man.
Actually, hilariously, even though the season just started, knowing what I know now, I'm super excited to see how potentially next the culmination of this information from the season probably won't be next season. It will most likely be Final Shape. And yeah, this might be the perfect season to segue into Final Shape hype.
Yeah, because we will have two more
To be
seasons,
honest.
but yeah, kind of get the hype going. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So you can carry on before some other
Well, I don't know.
strange
Yeah.
idea pops in my head.
In the TWAB, they show pictures of the Last of Us ornaments, right?
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps, yeah.
For those that don't know.
Sparrow, a ship, and a ghost.
Yeah, which is one reason I actually liked Last of Us Zombie lore, because they used a real life fungus that actually takes over ants.
Yeah.
And it's like some mutation or variant that takes over people instead. And that's why they look like that. But yeah.
Yep. Something about cosplay, but I did not read that paragraph.
It's the same cosplay contest thing that they had last year for
Okay.
Bungie Day, that they're kind of rerunning or doing slightly different, but mostly the same. I didn't read too much at it.
Titans won Guardian Games. Who cares? Just kidding.
Wow.
Sin, Rodimus.
I'm sorry, the Warlock's going to cheat their win this year.
Right.
No one cares to cheat. The Titans were the only ones that cared, I guess.
It was rigged the previous years.
Okay.
I mean, the first year was actually 100% rigged.
Is that when they did the weighting and everything? Or no,
Yeah,
the second
yeah.
year they did weighting, I thought. Or did they do the first year?
No.
Yeah.
No, the first year was weighted. Hunters practically couldn't win unless we went super hardcore. Which, in theory, was fair, but that weighting was super, super weird, I think. Because,
good weighting, yeah.
even though the hunter, like, sure, hunters populated, like, statistically most of the population. Is just the fact we trailed so hard that first year just made zero sense. And then, yeah, hunters just didn't care anymore because, like, we're not going to win anyway. But first year was definitely rigged.
Yep, and they do remind us we're going to have Solstice this season. That's going to start July 18th. So back half of the season. Grandmasters start mid-June 13th. Well, it's a little before mid, and we even get an Iron Banner starting next week. Our first Iron Banner of the season.
Solstice. Time for that aerial, European aerial zone. Or aerial.
I know you're newer to the game, Rodimus, but are you getting sick of the seasonal events yet?
So, believe it or not, I enjoy them.
That's fair, but they're just the same thing year after year after year.
Yeah, I get it, but I just enjoy.
You're newer, yeah.
Well, not even that. You get new armor and it's just fun.
I mean, at the very
with people.
Yeah, like one thing Solstice usually always had me at was the fact that it's some of the best armor through the year.
Now, I may not
Like,
go as
hands
hard as
down.
I did before because I already had the title.
Mm-hmm.
So, where before I didn't have the title, so I kind of went for it.
But don't you want to
I
gild
don't
it?
care about gild it. I don't want to gild. I get the whole purpose of gilding. If you're doing like triumph hunting, I don't know if it even gives you a higher score or not. But I could care less.
No, the titles themselves don't have scoring to them, I don't believe.
Nope, gilding is purely cosmetic for you to show off an emblem to other people.
To show
Or an
off that I
icon
don't have a
to
life bigger than I already do.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it's for.
I mean, if someone wants to run it, but I mean, depending. Now, is this the one where you can get the focus your armor? Though, is that Solstice I'm thinking of from last year, where people were getting like
I think it was
100s?
Yeah.
So I guess if you need to do your armor rolls, it might be worth it.
Oh yeah, but I'm very looking forward to these next few months because even when there's going to be times in Destiny where I'm not as interested playing, I have Zelda, and then we also have Diablo 4 coming out soon. So with it being summertime and a lot of good games to play, there's going to be no, downtimes really for us.
I'll be outside more often too. So
Yep, along with the outside stuff. Yep. And then we'll all be back August. Well, it won't be the 23rd. It'll probably be like the Friday or two after. But when Wrath of the Machine comes back, right?
Isn't there a Vidoc August 22nd?
Second, yes. Yep. So that will be fun, and then we'll have the next season with a raid. Which one we do not know yet. But hey, let's focus on the dungeon first. That's coming tomorrow, and we will have a lot of fun talking about it next week. So anything else you guys, gentlemen, want to talk about this evening before we start wrapping it up here?
No, I think that's it. I think so far the first week of the season's been pretty good. The story is interesting as far as my aspect of it because I had no idea who Sloane was. So
yeah, she's pretty badass.
Yeah,
I'll be curious to see how she's got her transformation. Hopefully, we'll get that throughout the week or the story. So.
It sounds very Erisy.
I was just gonna say she cahoots with Eris.
It's curious because she's not elaborating on anything, so it'll be interesting.
In part of the dialect, though, in game, she says she learned it to survive.
Yeah, which I mean isn't
to survive. So,
which is 1,000,000% what Eris did to get Hive Eyes. She did it to survive Hellmouth because she was sealed on the moon with hordes of hive. So yeah, I just find it very curious, but it also does kind of confirm the fact that she's able to hold it back, like her light is able to suppress it, does kind of confirm why we aren't taken.
The only thing I did not see was her ghost. Is her ghost dead?
Probably not, because she's like her light is. She did mention her light is holding back.
Eris doesn't have a ghost,
corruption.
correct?
No, Eris does not have a ghost. Her ghost died. The rock that she carries is Ahamkara bone, which lets her do things. But no, the fact that Sloane still has light in order to fight back the Taken corruption is indication that she still has a ghost. Because without a ghost, we have no light. A la Osiris. Oh my god. That actually just reminded me of like one of the in-battle dialogue lines where freaking Zebu Arath is trash talking Osiris by talking about Sagira, and just hearing that like blood-curdling scream from Saint was so good.
Yeah. It was a pretty intense. I was getting into it, and I hope there's some kind of like mid-season or end-season mission, not just these activities that we have that kind of capstones it. And it's like really dramatic, and you know, I'm sure there will be something like that. Oh, do you think we are getting, because we did, we got a raid and an exotic quest. We might have an exotic quest coming at some point too, right?
I mean, it's potential.
Yeah, I feel like there were some spoilers on some other exotic weapons.
I mean, yeah, that, and considering, because dungeons also have exotic quests tied to them, right?
Well, not quests, just they drop at the end. But
the exotic chance.
Well, I mean, Xenophage was tied to a dungeon.
Well, that was a one-off, but the last several,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm hoping and thinking we'll have another fun thing other than just the dungeon. Also, we'll probably have an exotic quest for it.
It would be.
Wasn't a trace rifle? Exotic trace rifle was the rumor or something. Like
that? Yeah. It was
Strand. Yeah,
a Strand. Yeah, I believe it was a Strand trace rifle that was quoted as not being a gimmick. Which
or it is a gimmick.
No, it leads me to believe that part of the rumor is entirely false, because all trace rifles are gimmicks. Like, even the good ones are still gimmicks. Come on.
And they're fun.
Oh no, yeah, super fun. But they're still gimmicks.
All right. Well, let's close this up here, gentlemen. If we want to give our shout-outs, that's much appreciated, because it'll be fun to say what our names are in the Discord. But Rodimus, you're just boring. You're Rodimus Prime in the Discord. Is that how people can find you?
He's not Rodimus Prime in the Discord.
Is it still? No, I'm Big Rod Prime. Come on now.
Sorry,
Big Rod
I was
Prime.
looking at something else. Big Rod Prime.
That's the other Discord. So
well, I was looking at a chat too.
Oh, that too. You can find me in Discords. I'm typically here and mostly over at GDC. So just tag me if you need me.
Nice. Yep. Des, where can people find you?
You can find me in the Discord currently as Massa of Disaster. Or Disaster. Disaster?
I like disaster. Even though it's not spelled like that.
It tickled me. And the fact that freaking Scoot came up with that in what, like a minute, Sin? If that?
It felt like 3 seconds.
Right? Like, holy balls. That was fast. And yeah, so like fitting and punny, and it was like perfect. It was so good. Yeah, so that was fantabulous. Sin.
You can currently find me being a hunter, trying to get my strand. Or, of course, on Twitter, Sin_media, or in the Discord, next to you two lovely gents.
My chopped liver.
Chopped liver.
You're right below us in the Discord right now.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right below. Not next, right below. But other than that, Kingsley.
Yes.
Not Titan. Hunter, Masterclass.
Sin's a little. By the way, and Sin Shady right now.
Sin Shady, yeah.
In the Discord.
Sin Shady.
I'm just a strand decoy, is what I am.
I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby.
All
you can find me as that.
Too many shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. You can find me as that in the Discord, Kingsley Mac, everywhere else. I stream sometimes, mostly just while we're raiding with friends. But more importantly, you can find information about the show, The Guardian Hub, on Twitter or through our lovely website, theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
Thank you, Sin. Thank you, Des. Thank you, Rodimus, for joining us
Kingsley.
this week.
No problem.
You're welcome. And we will catch you all again next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later.
Hasta la vista.
Baby.